Pentacle, chapter 26, Six of Swords. With Oberon, it had become difficult to converse, and when he started dating Oberon, he didn't imagine that things would sour up so much. He got a call from his boss, who gave him a stern talking to, and he was about to head out when he noticed something that deeply alarmed him. Eugenia's pants were starting to get stained with blood at an alarming rate, and the dogs began to bark as well. Eugenia barked came before hanging up his cell phone. He picked up Eugenia before rushing to the patrol car, and he speeded to the nearest hospital. And while she was in the emergency room, he spent it pacing about. And after half an hour, Eugenia was brought back in a wheelchair. The doctor simply said, "All is as it should be, and bleeding during the second trimester isn't unusual, and this occurs as a result of interference with the cervix during sex. Pink or brownish mucus may also occur during the second trimester." "I don't understand," said Kane, folding his arms in prayer position. "She is fine. Take her home. Have her rest in the bed. Don't play so rough with her next time. And take this shield pill while you're at it, officer," said the doctor, giving Kane a shield pill. Kane placed the shield pill in his pocket before carrying Eugenia back to the patrol car, and she could walk just fine, and her nerves were still shaky, and she desperately needed a familiar face beside her. And she breathed a sigh of relief as soon as she entered the car, and she sat on the passenger seat. Kane returned the cell phone to the woman, and Eugenia frowned when she saw that nobody had answered her distress call or text. "I could have died today and nobody would have known," said Eugenia, sighing wearily. "It's all right, Eugenia, you're all right," said Kane, placing his hand around Eugenia's shoulder. Eugenia cried a bit on Kane's shoulder, and when she felt better about her assistance, Kane was able to drive her home. And when they arrived at her house, she was relieved to see her father home. "Dad," said Eugenia, hugging her father. "I love you too, sweetie," said Michael casually. "And why are you home so early?" said Eugenia, narrowing her eyes. "Didn't you get my message?" Michael looked at his cell phone and raising an eyebrow, he said, "I just got it." Eugenia took her father's cell phone, and she sighed wearily when she verified that her father had just gotten her message. "And what happened?" asked Michael, eyeing his daughter from head to toe. "A false alarm," said Eugenia, laughing nervously. "Baby stuff, nothing to worry about." "If it's nothing serious, then I can return to my office," said Michael. "I don't think Eugenia should be left alone," said Kane. "She isn't alone. Oberon is keeping an eye on her," said Michael. "I allowed Oberon to leave early, and Santiago was supposed to be here already," said Eugenia, clenching her fist. "Calm down, honey," said Michael, hugging his daughter. "If you don't mind the office, I can keep an eye on you." And what of the dogs and the kitties?" asked Eugenia. "They will be the unpaid intern's problem," joked Michael. "I had to head back to work," said Kane, smiling shyly. "And you don't mind if Julia hangs out with her brother while I work?" "Sure, why not? 1 cat, 2 cats," said Michael, fetching the kittens and the dogs, and he added, "Siblings shouldn't be separated. Siblings should always stay together." Kane went to his patrol car to return to work, and as soon as he arrived, Arden asked him, "Everything all right with Eugenia?" "I'm sorry, I had a medical emergency," said Kane, "and I had to drive Eugenia to the hospital, but she's all right now." "Eugenia's the mother of your child?" asked Arden. "I don't know, maybe. And we will know once the kid is born, or as soon as Santiago's mother gets a DNA test from the fetus," said Kane. How would you go about doing a DNA test on a fetus?" asked Arden. "It is a simple procedure. While Eugenia is pregnant, her kid's blood circulates through her veins, and all you need is some of her blood and some saliva to find out who is the father," said Kane. "If such an exam is so simple, why not do the test already?" asked Arden. "Santiago doesn't want to know the truth, and he claims that he will love the kid regardless of the identity of the father," said Kane. "But what are you going to do if you are the father of the kid?" insisted Arden. "I will babysit him whenever Eugenia goes out, and maybe I will see him on the weekends," said Kane. "I have experience dealing with babies, and Aunt Stacy even taught me how to change a diaper. I look after my nephews whenever she and my uncle need a break." "Do you want a child?" asked Arden. "Not really, but who in their right mind could possibly want a baby?" asked Kane. "A lot of couples want children, but they can't have them," said Williams, jumping into the conversation to gossip. "There is such a thing as adoption," said Kane coldly, "and just because your child carries your blood, there is no guarantee that he will love you or that you will love him. Ironic. Don't you think? Those who want children don't have them, and those that have them don't want them. This world is awful, and we should avoid bringing new life into it if we can help it. Your cynicism makes me sad, said William, frowning. And if you think the world is awful now, I am about to make it much worse. You took a much longer break than you're allowed, and I will either dock your pay or you can stay 2 more hours. Kane looked at the time, and he remembered that he had a fight with Oberon that morning, and to avoid a confrontation, he decided to work 2 more hours. His co-workers left and the night shift clocked in, and the person in charge of the night shift said Kane on patrol, and the crazies were always more active when dusk fell, and he didn't need to patrol for long to run into a crime. An armed robbery occurred within his route, and he looked at the map before calculating the route that the pair could possibly take, and he then ran into a vehicle that matched the description of his target. He sped after the vehicle before turning on the lights, and one of the passengers lowered the window and Kane ducked while reaching for his revolver, and after getting shot at a couple of times, he returned fire doing the reload, and the first bullet he shot destroyed the back window, and the pair shot at him again, only this time the enemy struck a civilian car when Kane moved his patrol car out of the way. He cursed his dumb luck as he saw the vehicle behind him make a sudden stop, and with a new gambit in mind, he rammed his car against the side of the enemy vehicle to derail it. And the trick worked. The pair's vehicle slammed against the concrete fence without losing a wheel and control, and he sped out of control before getting T-boned by a Hummer. And as soon as the enemy car stopped, he sighed with relief. He cautiously left his car with his revolver on tow, and a pair fell out of the car, and Kane yelled a Miranda rights before ordering, "Put your hands up and come towards me slowly." He handcuffed the first man while making certain not to turn his back on the enemy, and instead of putting the criminal into the car, he walked ahead with the cuffed man using him as a human shield. "Not cool, man," barked the perp. Like he's using the guy he just handcuffed as a human shield hiding behind him. "Tell your little friend to get out of the car now," ordered Kane, and he placed a revolver against the man's temple before repeating, "Do not test my patience. I had killed for a lot less." The empty threat had the desired effect, and the perp begged his accomplice to get out. And once he had the other man in handcuffs, he breathed a sigh of relief. He saw a few patrol cars coming over the horizon, and he cuffed the men together before going on to his patrol car. Wait a minute," said his colleague. "I already told them their Miranda rights. I disarmed them and cuffed them. They are your problems now," said Kane before driving away. He returned to the office after completing his 2 hours of patrol, and he sighed wearily on his drive back home. And the car sounded a little funky, and he wondered how much damage the machine gun bullets had done, and he made a mental note to fix it tomorrow. He will handle everything tomorrow. When he arrived home, he found Oberon sitting outside in a bench waiting for him, and based on his face, it seemed like he wanted to continue arguing. Oberon at first looked angry, but his face changed to a look of concern when he saw Kane approach, and when he got close enough, Kane triggered the automatic lights. This caused Oberon to yell, "You got shot!" "I did?" asked Kane, puzzled. "You got shot and you didn't even notice," yelled Oberon, "and we gotta leave immediately." "Oh, but I just got home," protested Kane. And it was then when he became aware of an acute pain in his shoulder, and with the adrenaline dropping, his pain receptors had gone into overdrive, and he looked at the driver's seat, and it was a bloody mess, and for how long had he been bleeding, he knew not. "Why am I so unlucky?" barked Kane before sitting down, and the loss of blood was making him feel dizzy. Esther came running outside with a tourniquet and oxygenated water, and after examining the wound, she breathed a sigh of relief. He was a scratch, nothing more. A big scratch, mind you, but nothing that 8 stitches couldn't fix. And Ken got inside the car with Oberon and his grandma. "And where to?" asked Oberon. "To Carina's house," ordered Esther. Oberon attempted to start the patrol car, but it didn't budge, and it was then when Oberon became aware of the bullet holes in the windshield wiper. And they changed to his car, and he drove recklessly to Carina's house, and in order to avoid getting stopped, Esther had placed a mini siren on top of the hood, and this sufficed to help them ignore most of the traffic signs. And the party arrived in 15 minutes, and it was a good thing Carina lived within driving distance. The family was enjoying a peaceful barbecue when Kate walked in with a bleeding shoulder, and Barbara, who was the most skilled surgeon, went to deal with the problem, and she cleaned the wound before stitching it up. And Kate grimaced every so often, and each time he did, Oberon would flinch, almost as if he was in pain as well. Take 2 Tylenols every 4 to 6 hours for the pain, and do not let the pain build up, and avoid physical activities for a week. And to deal with the swelling, apply an ice pack every 4 hours, and on the first day we will keep it covered, and on the second day you may shower but not apply pressure water over it, and clean the wound daily with mild soap and warm water, ranted Barbara. And she typed all of the instructions on her old typewriter, and she knew that it was too much to memorize, and that she had bad handwriting, as all doctors do. Oberon took a photo of Kane's stitched up shoulder. "So you can take a month off work," said Oberon. "I'm fine, and it was only my left arm. I can still make myself useful," protested Kane. "A chicken scratch like this one will take about 2 weeks to heal," said Barbara. And she brought an arm sling before placing it around Kane's shoulder, and she added, "You look a little pale, and how long was that wound bleeding?" "I don't know, half an hour." "An hour," said Kane. Barbara went into the kitchen, and she came back with 4 bottles of water, and she ordered, "Drink all of it, but you can take your time with it, as long as they are empty before you go to sleep." Kane started drinking his water, and he was also given a box of spinach for dinner. Spinach. And with the final measure, the party was allowed to return home. Oberon was somber the entire way, and he had spent the entire morning extremely angry at Kane over something that now seemed trivial. "Kane has a real job, unlike me, and while I'm running pointless errands, he is literally getting shot at," thought Oberon, "and he doesn't need me to be stressing him out over something so stupid." The rest of the night revolved around making Kane as comfortable as possible, and he felt that his family was overreacting to a simple chicken scratch, and it wasn't the first time he had gotten stitches, and Oberon was especially meek and submissive. And when it came time for bed, the thought of mating had completely left Oberon's mind, and he simply limited himself to caressing Kane's head while the youth fell asleep. That's the end of that chapter. Bye-bye and God bless.